Hey, what's up? I'm Pat, and this is Real Talk Out of the Closet. So today I'm going to talk about how I was tired of heartbreak and failed relationships. So I decided I was going to become a fuck boy. Okay, and this is my story of my piss poor attempt at being a fuck boy. Yes, I failed miserably. Why, you say? For starters, I'm a giver, a pleaser, and which in hindsight means I care about other people's feelings too much, okay? Not such a good trait when you want to be a fuckboy. Because to be a fuckboy, you need to give a shit about nobody's feelings but your own, okay? You're the only person that matters. Number two reason I failed was one of my biggest pet peeves is punctuality, and if I say I'll do something, whether it be text you or call you or meet you at a certain time, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to be on time or early. And fuckboys, they don't think that anybody's time is valuable or precious other than their own, okay? Nobody else's time matters at all. So don't waste their time, okay? They have an I'll see you when I see you mentality, and honestly, that's just not me. If you've tried to call or text me and I missed your call because I couldn't take it at the time for some reason, I honestly feel bad for making you wait for me to respond to you, okay? Fuckboys just don't care. They'll get to you when they get to you. And number three, and the most important reason I failed, because I'm no good at casual sex, okay? Not that I can't perform well, I just don't get much from it. Yes, I've had casual sex. I just prefer something with feelings behind it, okay? Like I said before, when you're having any type of contact with someone, especially intimate contact, you're passing energy. And if that's bad energy, it could come back and really bite you in the ass, okay? And the last thing that I need is bad energy or karma, because karma's a real bitch, okay? So that being said, I knew I could not just casually date or have casual sex. Yet all my tries at long-term relationships were failing too, okay? So now I've failed at long-term relationships, and I definitely failed at trying to be a fuckboy. So I had to do some self-evaluating. Yeah, scary, I know, right? But I did it. I thought about every relationship I'd been in, starting with short term, then I went to my semi-long term, and then I went to my long term. I tried to remember every argument and play it back in my mind, especially the breakup one. And I did that. I went over and over and over each and every argument that I could think of in my mind, and that I could remember. And I tried to remember everything that I said and everything that they said and what the outcome was and what their reaction was and what my reaction was and then what the outcome was from that. And the thing is I never thought I had a type. I mean, I've dated women from all spectrums of weight, beauty, and intelligence. Okay, and we won't count the few men because it's pretty obvious why they failed. So just keep in mind that every woman I dated, I had some kind of feelings for. Some I loved, some I was in love with, but I did have some kind of feeling for every one of them. Yet I wasn't happy with any of them. There were issues after issues. So, now don't get me wrong, my reactions or lack of reactions, I'm sure were the cause of many issues. So I do admit fault, now anyway. Being an Aries, that's one thing I really have an issue with is admitting fault, but I'm getting better. I really am. I'm learning, okay? Um, the thing is even when things were good, I was unhappy. So I was like, what the fuck? So now I needed to figure out that part, and that's when sitting down and really evaluating why I was unhappy in these relationships and what in life would make me happy, what in a relationship would make me happy. How would I go about getting that? How would I go about giving it to them? And that's when it hit me like a ton of bricks. I really did have a type. The only difference is my type wasn't with looks. My type was personality traits, and I'm not talking about the good ones like sense of humor, compassion, intelligence, etc. I mean the not so great kind, okay? The kind of like off the wall kind, okay? You see, I realized I'd never been in an equal relationship. I was either the dominant one or the other person was more dominant, then which in return made me somewhat more submissive or passive, okay? And then even on a couple occasions, they were borderline narcissists. So I realized I was unhappy in most of my relationships, either because I was the dominant one and my partner always gave in to me. You know, like I said, being in Aries, it's hard for me to admit fault. And during an argument, I do not want to give up. But when you're in a dominant passive relationship and your partner is the passive one and they give into you, you kind of feed on that for a while, but then it becomes really boring. Okay. And then there was the other spectrum, where I was in relationships where they were more dominant and I was more submissive or passive. And I I always gave in and I always ignored my own feelings, wants, and needs to appease them or to try to just make the argument stop or whatever the case might have been. But then I would just hold everything in until finally, during a not so important argument, something stupid usually, I would finally explode. Okay. And then that Aries temper came out, and that's, if you've ever witnessed an Aries temper, it's not so good. So see, I figured out that my type was the biggest reason I wasn't getting what I deserved out of not only life, but out of a relationship, and that I wasn't able to give them what they deserved in return. So once I figured that out, I knew I could move forward. Okay. Now I'm in a equal, long-term relationship. We come together on all levels. She's a wonderful woman. Okay. Not to say that it's all rose petals and sunshine, but when you're on the same level, things seem to work out easier. Okay. When you come together and discuss things and try to figure out, okay, why did you say this, or why did you say that, or okay, and why did you not do this, or why did you not do that? Okay. It just seems different and it works out different when you are in a relationship where you're both on the same level and you're both equals. There's not one more dominant and one more passive. And so the point of this story is just to remind you that exploring your needs and maybe even stepping outside of your box could honestly lead you to a great relationship. Okay. If you feel the need to be a certain way in a relationship or accept certain things in a relationship, or you know, if your partner is cheating on you and you accept that and you keep taking them back and it keeps happening and happening, then you need to evaluate yourself and figure out what it is about yourself that makes you accepting of that. Okay. Um, I've learned, well, I should say I am slowly learning. Um, the older I get and the more I go about even trying, where in the past I honestly, just pretty much figured I'm me, I'm who I am, I'm not going to change. Um, and then I realized that that was not only not fair to myself, but it was not fair to my partner or anybody that I, wanted to be in any kind of relationship with, whether it was um, a partner or family, friends, whatever. Um, so if you're accepting things in your relationship that you know in your heart and in your mind and in your soul are not right, please reevaluate what it is you want for yourself out of life and out of a relationship, and evaluate the kind of people that you are hooking up with, and understand that, like I said, sometimes it is our type that keeps us from moving forward and getting what we really deserve out of life. Okay? So I hope you like this video. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And drop me any comments. Let me know if you've experienced anything as far as, the dominant and passive relationship, or maybe you are a fuck boy and enjoy it. Explain to me why you enjoy it. Explain to me what it is about being a fuck boy that brings joy to your life, even though you know that you're not necessarily bringing joy to somebody else's. If you've been with a fuck boy and experienced heartbreak because of them, drop me a message. Let me know. Okay? I'm very interested in anything that you guys have to share. So I hope you liked this video. Until next time.